This is how we do our podcast. We use Anchor to host it, and it's free.
Can you use it on your computer?
I think you can.
What about your phone?
I'm pretty sure you can too. They got all kinds of tools that you can use to do everything you need to do is edit your podcast, record it, everything.
Where can you listen to it at?
You know, Anchor distributes all your stuff for
Really?
you. Yeah. Like we're on iHeartRadio, which I think is really cool.
About Spotify and Apple.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
And everybody can go wherever they usually go to listen.
Can you make money from it?
Yep, you can. And you don't need to have a whole lot of listeners to do that.
Huh.
So you can download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
You want to be my wife? Oh, this is going to go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny
and Mike D. Lexi is absenta.
No, don't know where she is.
She was supposed to be here. She is not. But the show must go on.
And if you want to hear me blow my rape whistle every time Mike touches me inappropriately, you came to the right spot.
Don't blow it right in your microphone or to blow the speakers out. So, we just got done doing some beer tastings with our new official Take on the World beer tasting glass.
Absolutely.
It was a moving thing what we just did.
It was moving.
It was moving.
It was fantastic.
So, we are taping these for Halloween. So this will not be out until
No, wait.
October.
Oh, I get the whole. It's so stupid.
What?
The Oktoberfest beer.
I'm telling you, bro.
I'm retarded, man. I'm telling you, bro. Wait, hold on. Don't drink that.
I'm not.
You ever get the and I'm not the only one in the world. When you twist off.
Yes, you told me this before.
With the metallic thing.
Taste on the top.
I'm telling you, wipe it off with your shirt.
I'm okay with it.
All right. Suit yourself, you fag.
This is Yingling Oktoberfest. It's a classic Marzen style beer, which is my absolute favorite style beer. And this iteration of this beer is. Did you taste it yet?
Yeah, I did a little sip.
It's so caramel malty. I love it.
Was this the one where you yelled at the brewer?
There was no yelling. There was no
Yeah,
yelling.
by the way, you suck.
There was none of that. I gave my opinion.
So, technically, this is your beer?
If you say so. So, a couple shows ago, which, since these won't air till October, it was a few shows ago, we decided that we were going to each pick a
Halloween.
a horror villain
Yeah,
and do their backstory.
Yeah.
And you were very excited about this one, so we're going to do yours first. I am a horror nut. I love movies, but horror movies.
I mean, you would just ask this guy.
Are my jam.
He's like a wealth of knowledge. Like, oh, well, he's like an encyclopedia. Well, I'll get this horror killer. Oh, and he did this and that and this and that and this. I don't know how the fuck you do it.
I just...
Like, you already knew more about my topic than you let on. And then I came over here and I was like, man, I don't know how to put this in the topic or in the context. I'm confused. Like, I want to do it like, you know how I am.
So, normally...
And you're like, Mama, that's about and this, and number 1, number 2, and this comic books, and...
So, normally, I research, because I love researching. Like, I love learning shit. So, I research most of our topics. John, if he's excited about something, will research a shit out of something. But...
I did it once, and you guys weren't happy.
No.
Like, you were not, like, the...
You shut me up like fucking 15 times, dude.
Well, I had to, because there was a lot to chew through.
I was doing Mikey Jump Ahead, and Johnny Jump Ahead got mad at me.
You don't like the fact that I'm number 1 talker.
What? That wasn't it. What? You know what bothered me? The fact that I didn't research it as much as you. That's
really
straight up, dude.
Well, I do this. The episode we're referring to is
It was
the Zodiac Killer.
the Zodiac Killer.
And I had like I've been just in
You were obsessed with the
delved
Zodiac.
into that
Yeah.
for like years on you because it like honestly it interested me, and there's just through the years I've learned shit, and it was like 12 fucking pages.
I'm just used to being the person who researches obsessively, and you put me to shame, dude.
Dude, I did nothing but nonstop talk.
And then you hushed me.
Of course, I'm gonna hush you.
You fucking hushed me. No. Lexi's actually pretty decent at researching, but she knows a lot of stuff, like off the top of her head, which is, she probably gets it from me.
Well, yeah, that's exactly how you are.
I am that with certain things. Anyway.
Well, I think the Zodiac Killer one was the only one that I really, really went into depth about. And we cut that into 2 parts, didn't we?
We had to.
Because it was so fucking long.
There's so much stuff there.
Like, I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. It was like my whole life study.
So horror movies, villains, backstories. Because everybody in a movie's got a backstory. There is canon to every movie series. So, Johnny,
I picked Hellraiser.
And your backstory is on who?
Hellraiser?
Pinhead?
Oh, I'm sorry, Pinhead, yes.
Okay, so
I forgot what the fuck I was here for.
The funny thing that I found about... Now, again, I'm a movie buff. I love horror movies. When I did the research on this, the funny thing I found about it is something I didn't even realize until I thought about it. Pinhead was just an underlying thing in the first movie. He was not the main... He wasn't in the forefront. He was in the background. In the forefront of that movie was... what was his name? The guy who opened the box. It was about him. It was about his torture.
Spencer...
Yes.
Elliot Spencer. Yeah. Well, I guess...
No.
Yeah, Elliot
Spencer's Pinhead.
Oh. See, this is where I got messed up because, like, I did not watch... I tried to watch the first movie, and it got messed up, but I took a excerpt, literally, from... And here's my notes. From the movie where Elliot Spencer gets the box. Or no, I'm sorry.
So that's
Mr. Cotton.
That's the second movie.
Mr. Cotton. I don't know who the fuck Mr. Cotton is.
Mr. Cotton is the
Is he the original?
first movie, yeah.
Okay, so this is how the movie opens. There's bartering back and forth. It's like dark. There's like a table. There's bartering back and forth. For the it's India, 1920 India. And the guy says, "What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?" Mr. Cotton says, "The box." So dirty fingernails exchange a wad of U.S. money to a guy drinking chai tea. The chai tea guy gives Mr. Cotton the box, which is the lament configuration. That's what the box is called.
I know. I have that in my notes.
And that's when all hell breaks loose.
Okay, so
you said that's the first movie?
yes. You were doing the backstory on Pinhead. Let me, for the people who don't know the Hellraiser franchise, go through some of Hellraiser canon.
Go for it.
Okay. So Hellraiser, the movie franchise, boasts 10 movies, a series of books, and 2 separate comic book series. The franchise was based on Clive Barker, who was one of my favorite writers. Short novel, The Hellbound Heart. Clive Barker wrote and directed Hellraiser. The funny thing is, while he did write later on in his franchise, none of the movies that are out have his writing in it. He did not write or direct any other movie except for the first one. So, the main story focuses on a puzzle box that opens a gateway to a hell-like realm of the Cenobites.
Right.
Okay. The Cenobites are an order of formerly human monsters who harvest human souls.
You said monsters.
Monsters. Why do you make fun of the way I say monsters?
You said monsters. They're Mon.
You know,
O-N.
you guys have been busting my chops about how I say monsters. Since we did the horror movie.
I know.
Like you
He
guys,
said it again, though. He said Munsters.
I say it how I say it.
Let me get some Munsters.
Potato, bro.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's keep going.
You know what? Eat a dirty foot. So, Cenobites are an order of formerly human monsters who harvest human souls and torture them.
Correct.
While Clive Barker wrote the original, he hasn't written or directed any sequels. Although he did, in 2006, come on board to write a remake of the original. So the remake of the original, I think, is set to be released next year.
Really?
At this point, yes.
So that'd be like number 11?
Right, but he and the director kind of like didn't see eye to eye on shit, and they basically parted ways, and nothing happened from there. But Clive Barker signed away the story and the character rights before the first film, not realizing the gold mine he was sitting on. Like he didn't think this was going to be as big a thing it is. But Pinhead is like pop culture, like
For
fucking
sure.
icon. Like
Yeah.
everybody knows, whether
Sure.
you follow horror movies or not, everybody knows Pinhead. So the first movie was released in 1987, where you were questioning that earlier.
Yes. No, I could not find. I wanted to watch the original movie before I did my research, so I can, touch on that. And everything that came up kept saying that the movie was 1987. But I'm like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, and then I found the one that was like, wanted to buy it. It was the original copy, 1984. But it was like $15. I'm like, I'm not watching that. So everything you buy on like Hulu, or not Hulu, Tubi is what I have, which is an app you can get on your iPhone where you can watch old movies and shit. Everything was 1987. So that was another thing. I'm like, I'm not paying $20 to watch the original Hellraiser just to do a podcast.
Well, I will tell you this: next time we go down to Rob and B's, next time we're down there together, Rob will pull it out. We'll watch it.
He'll probably have it. Yeah,
I know he has it. So the newest iteration of this movie is set to be released 2022 on Hulu. That's what they said is going to be on Hulu. Pinhead was one of the only characters that was featured in all 10 of the movies.
Was he the same guy?
No, he was not. There was also a crossover. There was a crossover. This is cool. There was a crossover script that featured Pinhead and Michael Myers.
Oh my god!
So the script is written, but it was turned down by the studio. But with the advent of the Freddy vs. Jason movie,
right,
doing so well in the box office,
hey, why not?
Interest is sparked to revive that project, which I'd be excited to see, just because it's something a little different. Because Hollywood fucking sucks.
Yeah, just part out. I gotta pee. Or leave it in.
I just keep going. I just won't be interrupted for the next 2 minutes. For all of the fame that Pinhead has garnered, Pinhead was not even named in the first film. Like, they didn't mention the name Pinhead in the first film at all. He plays more of a background role to the psychosexual drama in the foreground of the movie. Cenobites are a race of extra-dimensional creatures that are characterized by their extensive mutilation, obsessed with sadomasochism, and bloodthirsty ways. All the Cenobites are united in the interest of ritual torture and death, but each of the Cenobite characters have their own predilections. The way they torture people, what gets them off when they torture people, each one of them has their own thing. Unfortunately, Johnny's missing this because he'd probably be rubbing himself right now. Oh, he's coming back!
I got something to say.
I'm sure you to see. He couldn't even stay away from it. When I said predilections, he was like, "Yeah, I gotta rub myself." You broke your microphone.
Why not? So what I wrote here is, So I'm a retard, as you all know. You're talking about the Cenobites, and
Their predilections.
I think this might. Let me just go back here.
Okay.
And I think this was the first movie. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, folks. This might be the second one.
I will, no doubt.
So Pinhead, the Hell Priest, leader of the Cenobites, quote, "The box. You opened it. We came." And then the girl says, "It's just a stupid box." "Oh no. Who are you?" "Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others." And that's like kind of like your first like kiss of, Pinhead. And I find it funny, like you said, like he wasn't Pinhead in the first.
He wasn't named as Pinhead in the first movie.
I think that like the first movie was like it's just a fucked up movie. Like, what the hell is this?
It focused more on the pain and suffering of the guy who opened the box,
Right.
than it did on the characters inflicting the pain and suffering.
Right. So, and that's what I was looking for, and I failed to find my information. I know I found that last time, and I was like, I couldn't find what I was looking for this time. So, I guess, let me just read what I have written here. It says, formerly humans that reside in an extra-dimensional realm.
I said that.
Who travel to Earth through a puzzle box called the Lament Configuration.
I didn't get there, Johnny Jump Ahead.
With the aim of harvesting human souls. And you did get to this point. They're all about sadomasochism. So for me, I was like, what the hell is sadomasochism? I know what sadomasochism is. Kind of. I know it's sick.
The pleasure,
but
of inflicted pain.
I have it written down here. So, sadomasochism is a psychological tendency or sexual practice by both sadism and masochism. Sadism is the tendency to derive pleasure, especially sexual gratification, from inflicting pain, suffering, or humiliation on others. And masochism is the same as sadism, but onto oneself. So instead of like doing all that suffering, embarrassment, humiliation onto you, I do it to myself.
Okay.
So this in itself is just fucking sick.
For you, for some people, it's normal.
I guess so. With pins hanging out of his fucking head. And I got excited there, and then like I was like, oh, I'm confused now.
So if you're
Anyways, go ahead, Michael.
If you're unlucky enough to open the puzzle box, they will unlock the dimension. What?
The Lament Configuration.
I'm not there yet.
Why are you holding back?
This is how I do.
All right. This is why. I'm sorry. This is why I invited you. This is why I asked you. I need help.
Unlock the dimension and will be subject to a number of punishments and torture. We learned from the first two sequels, Hellbound and Hell on Earth, Pinhead himself was drawn to the box while testing his limits for pain. The Lament Configuration, thank you very much, John, the name for the puzzle box, was created by Philip Lemarchand, an architect, a pervert, and a mass murderer. And he actually made the puzzle box while working for a toy company. So, that's the background of the movies and the franchise. I talked about comic books. There's some differing stuff with the comic books, as there always is. There's Epic Comic Books, which is a Marvel property. And there's Boom Comic Books, which I don't know. I don't know if they're connected to anybody else. I don't know if they're a Marvel property or not. But there's those two different iterations of the comic book. So, now we're getting into Pinhead's backstory, which they really didn't touch on in the first movie at all.
So, Pinhead is a Cenobite.
Yes.
So, what I have here, what I gather, is that all these Cenobites, they took the human form at one point in time, and they lost all their memory and human identity, and then followed a transformation while opening this box. And they're all sadomasochists. Like they endured so much pain, like the Battle of Flanders or whatever horror you can or hell you can live as a human, and then just change and like, I want more pain. Does that make sense? Like,
yep.
I need more pain. Pain is joy, and they open this box and boom.
So now, what I had in my original research was Elliot Spencer, who is Pinhead, was a World War I soldier.
Yes.
So, but the reason it was hard to follow was because according to canon, he was not just Elliot Spencer. He was other people. He was reincarnated as Elliot Spencer, according to the comic books.
Okay.
He was
See, now I kept the comic book separate from the story. I didn't, because I can't even handle. But the story.
They all fold over each other because depending on what website you're looking at, they're looking at canon from the comic books, and then they're looking at canon from the movies.
Well, then you're the one that fold all that shit together, because I can't like.
So we'll stay with Elliot Spencer, World War I soldier, because that's where you went, right?
Yeah, what I got was, his service in World War I. When he was done, he was so hurt and fucked up, he wandered the earth, indulging in a hedonistic lifestyle. And hedonistic, I don't want to sound redundant here, means engaged in the pursuit of pleasure.
Look who's here!
And Lexi!
You gonna jump in?
And self-indulgent.
Let me turn your mic on.
So he's already got that, like,
Alejandra's here.
Yeah.
He's already got that, like, I'm looking for pleasure.
Can you stop for a second and acknowledge her?
Oh my God. I did. I waved to her.
Let her sit down. Let her get in.
Okay.
Let her catch up.
I was on a roll there, homie.
I heard. I was like,
Lexi, you look like you just ran through the rain.
it's because I was at the Renaissance Fair today.
You
So I was
lucky
outside.
And you
bastard.
rushed back for this?
Yeah.
My God, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Did you swing a sword around?
Of course,
I
didn't-
didn't.
you didn't really rush back because you're an hour after you said you'd be here?
Yes, that is because my phone died. And everybody else was like, oh, it's not time to leave yet.
Yeah. No, don't go.
Yeah.
Pull your mic up so I can hear you.
Yes.
So,
Snap two.
let me catch her up quick. We just did the whole background of the movie of Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, yes.
Now we are on Pinhead's backstory. I don't know how much you looked up, or if you counted on us to look up, because I see you don't have your computer or your notes for your topic.
I have my
Okay.
notes in here, John.
Notes in here.
See? I'm telling you, it works every time.
There's several different iterations of his background.
Mm-hmm.
There's the comic iteration,
Yes.
and there's also the canon from the movies.
Yes.
And then let me stop you there.
And there's two different comics. Go ahead, Nathan.
That Michael says he would not do my research, and turns out I come here with half-assed research. I tried like hell yesterday, and he has 10 times better research than I do.
I'm going to say this, and I don't
I
step.
know you like doing it, bro.
I don't step up and defend you much, but I was getting confused while I was doing this research.
Okay, yeah. I told you. I did think of me. I'm
I'm just saying.
half retarded. I can't handle this.
I'm with you, bro. I feel your pain.
I did not. Well, my problem was there's not enough. There's enough information. I just don't know how to put it into context where it makes sense.
So now I have a
Right.
question for Lexi, since you just got here at the perfect time.
Where's the cheese sticks? You didn't bring any food? Rudders?
No.
Hot dog?
Nothing.
No.
So
Egg roll?
No, I am very hungry, but I was like, nope. I got a cup of ice at Sheetz while I was waiting for my phone to charge. So I figured I would just wait.
So with the comics, there's Epic Comics, which is a Marvel property,
Right.
and then there's Boom Comics. What are they?
Boom.
Is that an independent or?
It must be, or like a subcontract of somebody else.
Well, that's I don't know if it's a Marvel property or not, because Boom Studio Comics had some sort of Hellraiser comic.
Okay, it looks like they also did something with Buffy.
That makes sense.
Boom Studios is an American comic book and graphic novel publisher. There's another publisher.
Okay, independent maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just a smaller. But it looks like they do have some bigger properties. They have some Power Rangers stuff. They have WWE stuff. So it looks like maybe they just do like certain.
Do one-offs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
I'm going to jump back to the stuff that I highlighted here because that's comic stuff.
Okay.
And we're trying to keep them separate. But I'm going to try to follow along with your stuff with what I have here.
I want to read this one thing, Dan, when you're done.
You roll on, bro.
I think it's actually owned by
I think
Disney.
you should read that because...
The comic stuff or the other stuff?
Well, go ahead and do the comic stuff because this harkens... Well, if you want me to do this, because this harkens back to the Pinhead himself, the movie section.
Okay. So...
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I think Boom is owned by Disney.
No way.
That's what I just read.
Wow.
Hellraiser's Disney? Disney's Hellraiser?
Well, the
It
comic...
was probably published prior to Disney owning the company.
Okay.
Yeah, because this goes back to 93. The 93 comic
And this
series.
is when they bought out. This happened when they bought out Fox.
Yeah, that was
they
just like
acquired.
5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was far before that.
And this, I believe, is the Epic comic. Boom comic is below. In 93, the comic series goes to the heart of the question of what makes up Pinhead a little bit differently than the movie canon. A mini-series devoted to the monster's past. It claims that Pinhead was merely a reincarnation. What? Stop! Stop, motherfucker!
What the fuck?
I didn't even say anything.
They make fun of the way I say monster.
Rewind it.
Rewind it, motherfucker.
Monster.
Monster.
He says monster.
Monster. Like monsters.
Like Munster cheese.
Yeah,
Like the monsters.
Yeah, like the
Like the
monsters.
monsters.
Because they're monsters. You know?
We've gone through this fucking 100 times. Stop fucking making fun of me.
We had the same.
When we did the horror movie, we had the same.
Oh,
it
exactly.
was
About 10 minutes ago.
It was him and Katie busting my fucking chops. Fucker.
I'm sorry. I can't unhear it. I hear you say it, and I'm like, I look at you.
You dick. Stop.
But anyways, go on.
Okay. Pinhead was merely the latest reincarnation of an ancient deity. Pinhead is, in fact, the newest face of an Aztec god, Zype Totec.
Yeah.
He was an agricultural god associated with the regular rebirth of seasons. He was also ritually flayed himself to feed humanity. He could peel off his own skin entirely and reveal a golden body underneath. His followers believe that Totec invented the concept of war and desired human sacrifices, much the way Cenobites constantly need new humans to torture. According to Boom Comic Studio, Pinhead can move in and out of his previous incarnations at will instead of traveling back in time. So he doesn't actually travel back in time. He just becomes one of his former incarnations.
He recaramelize himself.
Yes, he recaramalizes.
Oh my god.
Just like the caramel in his beer.
See, well, I mean,
So there's two
the comic books, let alone, have thrown a wrench. Like, I cannot. It would take me years to like decipher this and like write it down so it makes sense.
But that's why when you research this, there's a lot of back and forth on the websites because some people are taking canon from comic books and some people are taking canon from
I went strictly because I never
you read
knew
movies,
there was
but if you look it up, they don't specifically say they're getting it from a comic book.
Yeah, and I never knew there was a comic book. I just thought it was always like 2 movies. I knew there was like Hellraiser 3.
Yeah,
I didn't know it went up to like 12.
10.
10.
10 movies.
Possibly 11 this year.
No, the 10th one will be the next one.
Okay.
Supposed to be released in 2022 on Hulu.
But okay, so I have a quick question.
Quick answer.
Like does this connect to any other movies in like current canon? Like, do they do any like crossovers?
They wanted to.
There was a crossover written. It was Pinhead and Michael Myers.
Well, listen here.
That'd be so
I'm
awesome.
so glad you mentioned that. Hold on.
Okay.
So,
But I just wanted to answer her question before you interrupted, but go ahead.
so Clive Barker, who made the movie,
Love
Pinhead,
Clive Barker.
was not initially received well by producers.
And that's why he sold the rights. Did you know that?
They thought
Yes.
Before the first movie came out, he sold the rights. I'm interrupting him now.
They thought Pinhead should be more like Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger because it was like around the same time. So Clive Barker was like, "Fuck that." He had to film himself, as he believed Pinhead's personality was evocative of Christopher Lee's Count Dracula or Hannibal Lecter.
Yes.
Yes.
And he says they are both clearly and articulate of what they are doing with a piercing intelligence.
Yes. So we talked about this already, but because you were late, you missed this.
Yes.
Pinhead was not in the forefront of the first movie. Wasn't even called Pinhead in the first movie.
No, it was just
He was. It just that was the thing that stuck with the audience who came. That he was the embodiment of the pain and torture that could be inflicted on people.
right.
So, actually, the name Pinhead, we talked about this upstairs before we came down, actually was never from Clive Barker. Clive Barker had 3 different names for Pinhead, and none of them are Pinhead. The makeup artist on the first movie started calling him Pinhead when they were doing his makeup every time.
Yeah.
And that's just stuck. And thank God it did, because
I think Pinhead's
iconic.
a great name.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Better than like, "Hey, Timmy."
Yeah, like I feel like so Hellraiser is actually like a group of people. Like you can like some people are a Hellraiser, correct?
Well, there is a group in Hellraiser, there's a faction, and they're named the Order of the Gash. So Pinhead and his Cenobite,
Yes.
Junkie Funkies,
Yes, those people.
they were the Order of the Gash.
Okay.
Now, who does
Who does?
hold on.
Who does?
There was a god that Hellraiser worships.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Yes. That's what I'm like kind of
Oh, here we go. So, he found the lament configuration in British India during the 20s. He lost all memory of his human identity following his transformation, and now he serves the deity Leviathan by abducting those who sold the lament configuration and torturing them in a labyrinth realm known as Hell.
Yes.
And Leviathan, I believe, is... I like the sound of that pages flipping.
I like it better when you're not ripping them.
I didn't rip that one.
You like
I thought it was there. I lied.
So
Son of a bitch.
let's start with Elliot Spencer.
Oh, Leviathan is the god of flesh, hunger, and desire, and originally is believed to be a fallen angel.
Okay.
So, dude, this story goes like...
it's like goes really, really deep. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
I think there's something like really, really deep about Hellraiser. I think I remember this.
I thought this would be like, what, like, okay, I got this shit covered.
Yeah, he was a soldier, and okay, let's
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, because when you have 10 movies, you constantly
movies.
evolve the backstory of the main characters. And like we mentioned before, when you weren't here because you were late,
Well, this is really interesting actually because this also ties into my topic, which we'll talk about later.
Pinhead was in all 10 movies.
Yeah.
He was the only character in all 10 movies.
Right.
So,
That's the same with mine.
Pinhead wasn't always a leather-clad, pasty, white maniac. he was actually Elliot Spencer, an Englishman who joined the British military in World War One. Captain Spencer saw action in the Battle of Somme.
The Somme.
Which was a 5-month-long battle with against it was British and French forces against German territory.
Yep.
Anyway, close to 1 million soldiers lost their lives during that fight from both sides. So we had talked about this slightly earlier that it seems like Elliot Spencer had some survival guilt because the gentleman who played Elliot Spencer in the movie, Doug Bradley, he did an interview and said that he watched a documentary on his battle of Somme. And during the interviews, whoever they were interviewing during the documentary, they said that there was some people who survived it, and they just felt like they should have died too.
Yeah.
And that's how he approached the character. This bloody loss of life bred the man who became Pinhead. This battle is so deeply ingrained in the character.
So that makes sense why he searched the world for his hedonistic lifestyle.
Right. But this Doug Bradley, apparently there was a stage play of Hellraiser that written by Clive Barker that Doug Bradley actually played the character in the stage play and then came along when they did the movie.
Oh, nice.
And decided to play the Pinhead in the movie. And so he was really ingrained in the character by the end of the first movie. He had already done you do multiple productions when it's a stage play.
Right, like you're doing that like maybe a couple times a night, every night.
Like you become the part. But he studied that documentary.
Like this is the complete definition of hedonism.
Yes. And this is a reoccurring thing too. Every place that I looked about Captain Spencer, he lost his faith in the human race.
Right.
And he began to wander India to fulfill every carnal desire he could think of. So after he had filled his life full of sex and violence, he discovered the lament configuration, which, as Johnny Jump Ahead has already told us,
that's where I described the movie with the dirty fingernails pushing the lament and him giving him money.
The lament configuration is the actual box. That's what it's called, the puzzle box. Since you were late.
I already knew that.
Okay.
And in fact, I have the quote from that movie.
Rock on, bro.
Here. I guess his name, for whatever reason, is Mr. Cotton? I think I read this before, didn't I?
You did. You read it before.
Should I do it again? No.
Mr. Cotton is not Captain Spencer. Mr. Cotton is the guy who's being tortured in the first movie.
Okay. But anyways, his desire was to have that box.
Yes.
Didn't matter what it
was. Because he knew what that box represented. If you could solve the puzzle, you could get tortured by some pretty cool people.
Wow, it's pretty rad.
Well, I mean, he got off on getting tortured. That's what's their old... They didn't die in war, so...
So, like, masochist?
Yeah. Sadism and masochism.
I mentioned the stage version, and in the stage version, Pinhead was known as the Dutchman. In Clive Barker, when he wrote it, it was Lead Cenobite, Hell Priest, or Cold Man. There was no Pinhead.
Hell Priest. Hell Priest is what they chose.
They did use Hell Priest. They did say Lead Cenobite in the first movie as well.
So they kind of use them interchangeably.
Yeah. Because Pinhead, again, was not used until the second or third movie. And then the Pinhead's gang was the Order of the Gash. Did you know that Pinhead had a girlfriend?
My God. No. Really?
Isn't it
really? There's a love triangle in this whole thing?
Not a love triangle. It was a love connection. So the Cenobite name Markova was a demon with a skeletal horse snout attached to her face, along with legs of a horse attached to her lower body.
So weird.
Yeah, freak. That's all I got.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you got way more than I had.
Well,
I don't think this thing has been laid to rest.
no. It goes so much
We
deeper.
opened we opened the lament configuration.
No, you did. I didn't open that shit. I don't want to get fucking hooked.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do any research. This is all based on prior knowledge.
Like I sat down legit last night and I was like doing all the best I could for like 2-3 hours. And I have 5 pages of jumbled notes I can't read.
And I'm saying it's because there's like 3 different backstories all put together.
Yeah, there was a playwright, for Christ's sakes. I didn't do that.
The comic book, each of the comic book had a slightly different backstory, and the movies have a slightly different backstory. And the backstory has been tweaked as the movies went along.
I just find it really interesting that Clive Barker, what they were like, since Freddy and Michael Myers were the thing of the like going on there, and they're like, well, we kind of want you to do that. He's like, no, like this is more sophisticated than that. Like he's not Michael
like
Myers.
He just wasn't happy with like just having the movie.
I'm gonna
Like
link.
he was like, I want to do more with it.
I'm gonna link
like
with this.
his
Hollywood
character-
sucks because we talked about this with the production companies and the studios. Like you bring the story to the studio, and they say, okay,
They want to change it,
and then they want to change it to whatever's popular now.
right? And
Instead-
he's like, no.
And he stuck to it, and they had him so convinced it was going to fail. I think that he sold the rights to this movie and all the characters, and hasn't written another one. He's written other stuff for this series,
Yeah.
but it hasn't been used in any of the
sold
movies.
it. He would have been. I mean, I feel like this is a cult.
Oops, sorry.
A cult following,
Absolutely.
kind of. You know, maybe not as much as Michael Myers and maybe more than Freddy Krueger. I don't know, but it still has its own right. But just to sit there and say like, okay, you got this guy, just make him the same as Michael Myers, and like we'll do the same thing because the same thing is killing. You know, like you have this. We'll just make the same movie and we'll know we'll make money off it. And he's like, fuck you guys, I'm making my own thing.
Right, and he did, and like I said, Pinhead was a background thing in, like, he was there, but he wasn't the main focus of the first movie, and he became the focus of this franchise.
Yeah.
What I like is what I read before was that he became, like kind of close to, in the sense of his creepiness, to Count Dracula or Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Just like that guy in the background,
Intelligent,
and like, intelligent
psychopath.
And that was like the beginning, probably, of maybe Hannibal Lecter. Because didn't that come out? That had to come out. Yeah, that was after that movie.
Silence of the Lambs was like 92 or something like that.
This was
Maybe
84 or 87.
Yeah, he might have started writing it at 84, but it wasn't released till 87.
I believe I don't know.
Here's when all the movies were released.
Yeah. Silence of the Lambs is 91, so.
And the budget for this movie is only $1 million.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, it's a lot of money, though.
Yeah. So, look, this is one of my favorite franchises, period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was that? The Hellraiser and Jihad?
Where? Oh, down it. Versus Nightbreed. That was comics, Epic Comics.
Yeah.
Those were limited series by Epic Comics.
Yeah.
And then the Boom comics are right there too. So all the Epic comics are like 89 to 94, and the Boom comics were 2011 through 15. Anyway, what?
He has a piece of a.
Go ahead. We'll wrap this up
You
without you.
forced me. So your fault.
We'll wrap this up without you. So, John and I took on part of Hellraiser and Pinhead, and Lexi took on a part of Pinhead.
I feel like I added in some good information.
I feel like you might have. So
I had a lot of good questions.
You did. We took on Pinhead, and this is our October Halloween series. We have 2 more to do. We have my topic coming up, and we have Lexi's topic coming up, and we'll let you be surprised as to what they are. New camera. Did you see new camera?
New camera. It has a nice mic on it.
Yeah, I don't even know if we need the mic because we're using these anyway. I would cut that audio out anyway. But we had a hard time getting it started.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't work for me, and then John got it to work and made me feel stupid. So,
Okay, that's good. That's always good, keeping us humble.
We took on Hellraiser and Pinhead. Now, you go take on the world.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
You want to be my wife? Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.